In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know to build a full stack web application with Lovable. We're going to use Supabase on the back end and Claude in the app itself for AI fun. To get there, we're going to live build a real project that I've been able to sell for $2,500 a pop. Goal being, by the end of this video, you'll be able to see exactly how you plan, build, and then understand the value enough to be able to market and sell your web application. So let's dive into it. So full transparency, what we're doing today has actually been taking a lot of heat online. People are talking a lot of trash about AI coding assistants, and to some extent, they're right in that, like everything else, the execution is only going to be as good as your planning. So if they're not planning properly, then of course you're not going to get a good result. Think of it like this. AI is incredibly good at following directions. It is incredibly bad, like equally bad at guessing what you meant or extrapolation. So you want to go and make sure that you're mitigating that as much as possible. So with that, the single most important part of these projects is the mapping and pre-planning, right? It's like that old Abraham Lincoln quote. If you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I spend 4 of those sharpening my axe. That is the most apt sort of anecdote I can think of for AI coding. So really, I honestly write it down on paper. Think of every single aspect of functionality for your web application and like write it down. Do you need user logins? What kind of information do you want to store? How it's going to interact? Once you got the functionality mapped out for this web application, we're going to also think about the tech stack. How are we going to put this all together? For this particular application, and bear with me, this will all make sense and more sense anyways in a minute, we're going to use Lovable to build out the front end. We're going to use Supabase to build out the back end, like user authentication and storage and that kind of thing. And then for the AI I want to build into the app itself, I am choosing Anthropic Claude. It's my favorite. You can use OpenAI, you can use Grok, you can use whatever you want. For myself, I just kind of like to keep that in one place, and I'm not having to pay for API keys all over the place, or I have like one that I prefer. So for the AI side, we're going to go to console.anthropic.com, and then we're going to get an API key. You'll need to throw down a couple bucks just for usage, but I found even like 10 American dollars goes surprisingly far for test usage. Get API key, and then make sure to, when you create an API key, you copy it and write it down somewhere, because the only time that the API key is shown is when it's first created, kind of thing, right? So you're going to want to write that down. Next, we're going to create a Supabase account and then a Lovable account. I'm going to see if we can get this done in the free plan. That would be amazing if we can get it done in less than 5 prompts. You only get 5 free prompts a day on Lovable, but you can always come back and finish the app out on the free plan the next day, kind of thing. So that's all set up. It's now time to start planning for our prompts. And I know that sounds strange since we put so much effort into like going in as much detail as we could with the project map, but I find that we just need that extra little bit in order to make sure that we optimize the communication for the AI coding assistant. We communicate a lot in non-verbal ways, and I find that when we're, stuck to just written communication, we don't do as much as we think we do. So what we're going to do is prompt another LLM like Claude with the very detailed map that we wrote out for ourselves in natural language, and then like bullet points with the key functionalities and whatnot. And then we're going to use that to generate a product requirements document for our AI coding assistant so that it has very clear guardrails. It's almost like a coloring book, right? We'll give it the outline and it's just going to fill in everything that we need it to. Okay, I am going to read this through. I can see how that would be boring, so I'm just going to copy paste the prompt into the description. You can read it at your leisure, but otherwise you can fast forward. I'll put a timestamp out down below. As I'm reading through this, I want you to pay attention to my specific word choice. Like you'll notice I never use passive tone, always present tense and like active language. Also as detailed and one, therefore two as possible. So first things first, we're going to tell the AI what it is that it does, right? So we're going to assign it a role. You can ring out a few extra percentage points in terms of performance if you kind of like pump its tires a little bit too. So that's what I do. So role. You are an expert at writing detailed PRDs, particularly at sticking to scope with no extra information or details that need clarification or extrapolation. Perfect. That's what you're doing. With the hashtags, it's just kind of showcasing importance. So one hashtag is like number 1, 2 is secondary, and so forth. This is where I basically copy paste the natural language description of what I want to do. And I'll read this through so you can pay attention to what we're doing. I want to build a math tutoring app for kids in grades 6 to 12. The idea is pretty simple. Students pick their grade level and what type of math they want to work on, like fractions, algebra, geometry, etc. Always give examples, always. Then Claude AI generates a unique quiz, 10 to 15 questions, with multiple choice questions tailored to that specific topic and grade level. I want to use AI to give them really personalized feedback like a real tutor. So after they finish the test, the AI will analyze incorrect answers and create a custom study guide and detailed explanations and lesson content. It will tell the student exactly what concepts need practice, explain the questions they missed step by step, and generate comprehensive study materials and structured lessons to improve those aspects. Students are limited to 4 tests per month, once per week, to ensure proper pacing and study habits. After completing a test, a student must complete their AI-generated study guide and lessons before being allowed to take the next test. Weekly test limits reset every Sunday, and the system should enforce these restrictions. I also want to track progress over time so they can see how they're improving in different areas, including a dashboard with charts corresponding to their scores, which topics they're strongest/weakest in, relevant performance metrics to help gamify the process. For the technical side, we'll use Supabase on the backend for user authentication, storage, and database. Claude Sonnet 4 for all AI-generated content. This includes generating unique test questions, creating personalized study guides, and developing lesson content based on performance analytics. Key requirements, and as you can see, this is bold with the hashtag. This is kind of like the hard overview, so that lists everything that we just talked about in the above. So now what it is we're doing. The goal is to make a math practice actually helpful and personalized, not just another boring math quiz app. Every test should be unique, and the study materials should be tailored specifically to each student's performance and learning needs. The structure and pacing ensures students actually learn from their mistakes rather than just repeated test actions. Now, the task. This is also really important, so I'm going to bring this into bold world. Could you please generate a PRD for this app to inform an AI coding assistant, include key capabilities and necessary database structure? Do not embellish or include future implementations or timeline. Please output only the above functionality. This last sentence here is pivotally important because I find a lot of the time they'll be like, hey, this is what else you could do. Or they'll start talking about how this will take, 6 to 8 months to actually implement and stuff. And we don't need any of that. We just want the product functionality. Okay, so now that we've got all of this, let's see what Claude does for us. So as you can see, this isn't even the prompt for Lovable, and it's already really detailed. We're just gonna make sure that we didn't miss anything and nothing slipped through the cracks, okay? Okay, this is great. It's actually generating the database schema, so it's building the tables and giving that back end for us already. And we're going to push this into Lovable. Fantastic. Okay, so let's copy this and go over to Lovable. Doop, doop, doop. First things first, though, we're going to want to create a project in Supabase. Let's call this math scope. Why not? Password, guest. It's not guest. I'm just okay, and math scope. Ta-da! All right, copy, paste. Love it. Another thing you can do is if you had any ideas for design, you could attach screenshots. Right? Let's say you go to a website with a lot of templates like Webflow or whatever, and then just use that to prompt Lovable. Give it some ideas as to how you want this to look. I personally do not care in this instance, so we're just gonna let it do its thing. And vamos. All right, this is prompt number 1. I am going to engage the agent, which I did. Hell yeah. Okay, so I'm curious to see if it breaks this up into chunks. Ideally, what we want to do is have it start with just the outline, the functionality and navigation, and then build the database, and then implement AI, and then one at a time, so it's not trying to do too much. Design, color scheme, blues and greens, progress bars, achievement badges, and encouraging feedback. I love that. Build the beautiful interface. Okay, so first thing it's doing, okay, this is great. First thing it's doing is talking about the database. It's getting the groundwork done first. I'll probably have to approve this. Yeah, okay. Apply changes. So it's going to go back into Supabase, and let's see if we can... Yeah, okay. Now it just made the tables, as you can see. So functions 0. Edge functions, that's like where we put our Claude API key. There we go. See, add API key. This is great, actually, that it's doing one thing at a time. Agent mode is so much better, rather than like the way Lovable used to work, is it would just like ham fist everything all at once. Okay, so I'm going to blank this out so you guys don't catch my API key. Okay, so add API key, submit. I have now added the API keys you asked for. Oh, let's see what it comes up with. So what is that? 1, 2, 3 prompts. So I guess I'll take a second to talk about, you know, why I prefer these platforms over others. The Lovable one looks nicer than a lot of the other options, and it's got a integration really made easy with Supabase. You saw how easy it is. It's able to just go in and create your backend. And GitHub. GitHub is what you use to get push code around, essentially. So you can get your web application off of Lovable onto GitHub and then use that to host. I prefer Vercel. Like I said, I'm not going to get into deployment in this particular video, but this GitHub integration is how you actually like distribute the app once it's built. All right, so it's going to take a few minutes, I think. Creating authentication pages, landing page, edge functions. Yes! I got so tied up today, so I'm glad this is moving rather quickly because I only had like an hour to do this whole video. Okay. Now updating index. That is excellent. That means it's almost done. How many credits? So far, only 2 credits. What have we got? Oh boy, completed. Beautiful education design system. Still needs. Good. Would you like me to continue? Yes, please. So how many prompts are we up to now? 15. Jeepers. All right. So not in the free plan. Sorry, guys. This is like a 2-dare with the agent thus far. Okay, so it's probably like what, 20 points. I might be able to turn agent mode off for like little tweaks, but in this instance, I'm really glad we had it on so that it wasn't getting all confused and it's actually doing the backend correctly. Supabase config. Very exciting. Okay, Math Mentor app is complete and ready to use. Let's test this sucker out. With how many prompts? 17. Okay, 10 prompts. Okay, cool. Let's sign up. Password. Guest 69. In case you're wondering if I'm an idiot. All right, let's check our email. Supabase auth confirmed. Baby, baby, baby. It's going to log us in. Math quiz. Sick. This actually looks okay. Let's go grade 9. Pre-algebra. Loading. No pending study guides. 1 this week. Let's do geometry, shapes, and colors, baby. All right, loading. Loading our AI is creating a personalized questions. I'm just curious if it actually implemented Claude. I kind of want to go back over here actually to do this. Okay, so I'm going to give it some time because the issue might be that it's using Claude Opus, which is what it kind of defaults to, and it takes a minute. Also takes a minute to generate 10 questions. Awesome. Okay, cool. 12. Hey, we said 10 to 15. What is the sum of all angles in a triangle? A million. Got it. I'm not gonna... All right, let's just burn through this. Making sure we're recording still so that we all have documentation of my elite math skills. Oops, skip. No, I don't want to skip. Ready. Let's see what we get. Claude's gonna think about it. Oh. Yeah, I think the reason it's taking so long is because of the model. Claude Opus 4 is like the high end one, and it just takes a couple extra minutes to think about it. So that's going to cost you a little more with your API usage. But then from there, what you can do is actually just go into your, where are we here? Documentation, API reference, and then just tell Lovable that you don't want to use Opus. You want to use Sonnet, right? And then pick the model. It's in TypeScript as well. So Sonnet, TypeScript, ta-da. But complete your first study guide. Intermediate, what did I get? 33%. Dang. All right. Where's my study guide? Pending. Boop. All right, let's refresh this. Make sure that the study guide functionality works. Okay, so we're going to prompt it to make sure that we can access the study guides. Let's fix that. We need to be able to go back and access the generated study guides and lessons. Let's see what happens here. Questions correct 4, average 17%. Test taken 2. I didn't take that test. We canceled that test. Okay, so found the problem, edited the problem. We're up to still edited, past tense. Let's refresh. Okay, so it's all good, and now we have tabs, which is actually pretty awesome too. So this is like your main dashboard. Then we can go to a list of study guides, complete, in progress. Progress, this is like your, history and whatnot. The only issue I have with the study guides is it didn't actually provide the lessons that we'd asked for. So then I'm going to prompt it with, I would like you to provide lessons with each study guide and example questions over a couple pages. Then mark the study guide complete when all pages have been viewed and completed. Input, that's the functionality we asked for at the outset. Honestly, the first time I built this out, I did it with Google Firebase Studio. So I'm loving the Supabase integration because it's honestly more straightforward and less money. So let's see what it comes up with. Now I'll create an enhanced study guide system with structured lessons, example questions across multiple pages, page-based completion tracking. That's what we want, baby. Overview. Just gonna think about it some more. Okay, so it says it's implemented the new study guide structure. 1 of 1 lesson. Why are we timing it? All right, that's silly. Complete lesson. Lesson complete. Study guide complete. Hell yeah, baby. Study guides. Even complete. All lessons complete. Cool. Okay, that works. Excellent. Once the study guide is completed, can you please reflect that in the dashboard and have the status moved from pending to complete? Okay, so it's good there. You see how I wasn't specific enough in my last prompt where I said I would like you to make sure that the study guide can be marked complete when, you're done the page, and it did that. Once we marked it complete, it's, all complete, but it didn't do that in the dashboard because I didn't tell it to do that in the dashboard. So now that that's sorted out, we're going to go through, we're just going to run some more tests and make sure that this is ready to ship. The one thing I'm seeing is you're not able to change your grade. So I'm just going to prompt it to change that. Once you're logged in, you need to be able to select, needs to be variable. Once logged in, you need to be able to train, give it crest testing criteria. So it's going to do that. Oh, settings. Hey, settings is a great idea. Upgrade. Changing your grade level will affect the difficulty. Okay. Sweet. Grade level upgraded. Start new quiz. All right, let's see what we got. Calculus prep. This is grade 11, baby. Skip grade 10. I actually finished Math 11 in grade 10, and I don't remember a single bit of it. Cool. What is the domain function? I'm not going to do these actual tests, but just see what happens. Oh, can't skip. That's no good. Getting your personalized study guide. Can't wait. First off, getting 2 correct out of 12. Complete lesson. Okay, good. This is what I wanted. Okay, study guides, complete. Progress, we're still learning month over month. Settings. And then, so from here, it's really just, oh man, 9 questions correct. Like I said, it's way better that the AI thinks you're dumb than your actual parents. But anyway, what you do from here essentially is just run through a few times and make tweaks to the app that you see, right? So you notice that I saw that we can't change the grade level, so we included that. Notice that the study guides weren't acting the way we wanted. You just run through a few times and make sure that it's working, and then it's able to ship. And from that, like I said, I'm not getting into deployment today, but what you do is you would sync it with your GitHub and then push this project to GitHub, and then from there you'd be able to host it. But that is a different video. So you notice, like, the second I tried prompting with natural language in here, it didn't do exactly what, like, I'm sure you understood what I had in mind in terms of like where I wanted this functionality, but it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to. So that's, I guess, just highlighting the importance of making sure your prompting is top notch. So I hope after this you can see the value in these sorts of tools and understand the importance in terms of like pre-planning, right? A lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about, you know, vibe coding or even just trying to make your money online. There's a lot of negativity around it, and you don't need to listen to that at all. Just make sure that you have everything planned out and you know what you're doing before you walk into it. I originally got this idea from Upwork, of all places. So like, go out and ask people what it is that would help them, right? Go onto Upwork, see how you can apply these skills and maybe move this forward. I was also able to resell this once it was built to a number of different people that, you know, had use for it, right? So if you can see the value, that's awesome. Don't listen to the negativity. If you got insights from this, I actually put together a 90-day program on how to turn these sort of skills into actual money, how to plan, how to sell, how to market, how to find clients, and this sort of thing. And the link for that program is down in the description. If you want to know more about the other tools I use on a daily basis, you can check out this video up here. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.